Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 222 for Tuesday, the 3rd of September 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag, PSN ID, Steam ID, Webby360G. And joining me this evening is...
I'm DarkestFrost, first time on the podcast. Been around part of the community for a very long time. I thought I'd come and say hello.
And the greatest month of the year is finally upon us. It's Sensei Switch.
Excellent. So, so as you can hear, we've got DarkestFrost joining us tonight. He's been a very much a long time listener, valued member of the community. Game with him an awful lot. Used to play a lot of Sea of Thieves with him, not so much anymore. But iRacing, Call of Duty, Hunt Showdown more recently, Aliens in the past. You know, lots of games, which is awesome. And obviously Darren, the loyal faithful of Darren, he's here every week. Hardcore gamer and valued podcast co-host Darren. So that's excellent. Nick and Graham aren't here this week. Nick is been pussy whipped, not going to put it lightly. And what happened to Graham? Oh, his washing machine broke down. So is that his dad's doing his washing? Oh dear. So that's the story of the podcast co-hosts. It is really hot tonight. I don't know what's going on with the weather. But no, it's nice to have everyone here. So we're going to get into it because we've got a lot to talk about. I've got to catch up on, me and Darren have got to catch up on the games that we didn't talk about last week. There's been lots of news this week, and I didn't read out the questions on the Discord last week, so I need to read those out as well. So don't let me forget. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to start off with you, Frosty, because you're new to podcasting, so it'd be good to know a tiny bit about you and what video game... Well, just give me one game that you've been playing this week as well, and then we'll go as the usual.
Okay. Well, as you said in the intro, I've been around a long time in the community. It's not my first ever podcast. I have done a couple back in the day of CG UK. But yeah, I thought I'd just come and offer my services to you if you were ever short of anybody. But yeah, I'm an older gamer, a miserable gamer sometimes. Like to have a tipple at the weekends, and this week I will say that I've been playing Call of Duty, the beta for Block 6.
Yes, I think. Well, me and you have both been playing it, haven't we?
Yeah.
I'm really liking it. I don't know about you.
Do you know what? It took a little while because I've been playing quite a lot of Modern Warfare 3 since it came out on Game Pass, and I haven't played Call of Duty for a long time. Since Warzone, the first Warzone first came out, was probably the last one that I played. And I just got to grips with Modern Warfare 3, and then when I started playing this Call of Duty Block 6 beta, I really struggled with aiming. It was like I was a baby all over again, you know?
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I've just hit level 20, which I think is the cap for the beta. I hit that today. And now it feels like second nature again. So, yeah, really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job with it, to be honest. And been playing it on PC. Now, one thing I will say is just a little bit of a PC kind of moan. Obviously, I've been playing COD for years on Steam, racked up about 400 odd hours on it. Been used to just launching it through Steam, but obviously the game's hit Game Pass now. So I've had to uninstall it from Steam and re-download the whole thing on the Xbox app, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. I'm not paying for the game when it comes out. It's obviously in Game Pass, so that's what you got to do, right? But no, I'm really liking it, and I know people say, "Oh yeah, it's the same old COD. COD's the same every year." I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You see too many games trying to change too much of the core gameplay when it comes to sequels, and then it just ruins it, and it just turns the fans off. Call of Duty's been pretty much a staple in the gaming diet for what, 20 years? Fucking, I'm feeling old now. And the formula hasn't really changed, right? But what I like about this is the core movement mechanics feel good. Obviously,
Very fluid.
Yeah, it's very fluid. They have changed up a few things, so you can now dive, and this is what's been catching me out a little bit. When you run, you can now kind of sprint sideways if you can, and dive sideways or backwards, which you couldn't do before. You could only kind of dive forwards. So that's kind of a new mechanic, and it has caught me out a few times of people being annoying and Halo jumping around and diving in funny directions and killing me. But that's just something to get used to. But the guns all feel really good. I feel like it's a little bit easier to kill people than Modern Warfare 3, and I think that's because they've upped the time to kill a little bit. And I know some people have found that frustrating, but for me, I actually quite like that because I'm actually finding I'm finding it easier to actually kill the enemies.
Have you played it today, Webby? Since they
I've been out all day today, and then I got home for the F1, and then made dinner, and then podcast. So
they brought out another map but also another
game mode.
Another game mode.
Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
Where you have a one person on each team who you're trying to defend yours whilst trying to kill theirs, and they show up on the map.
Okay.
And so they are like the priority target. It's quite interesting. I think it's called Kill Time or something.
Okay.
So I've done a bit of that today.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. The only thing I find weird about COD, and Gav's just mentioned it in the chat as well, and I'll get to that in a second. It's in this Call of Duty hub, and that's how they're doing it. So when you load up the hub, like, you select all the games you own through that hub. And obviously some people don't like that. But I think if you own all the games, it's kind of nice to have it all there. But it kind of, when you select it, it kind of shuts down and opens up just that game, which is a bit odd. I don't know if it does it on console, but it certainly does it on PC. But one thing I did notice, and Gav's just reminded me of that, is if you played Modern Warfare 2 or 3 and you have specific settings, so I have a specific setting. So in my field of view, I always put it to the max, which is 120. That's not automatically set on the Black Ops beta. So just make sure, if you haven't played it yet, to just go into your settings and make sure and change them to the same as what you've had before. But yeah, I think what I like about this beta is the maps that they've got. I mean, obviously I've only played 3 of them. They're all fresh, they're brand new as far as I can tell, and they're really well designed. There's a few little secrets in them as well if you do a little bit of exploration. And I like that, because what I found with the Modern Warfares is obviously it's old maps, and I like revisiting the old maps, but it's old maps. I've been there and done it, right? Whereas this, it's all brand new. It feels fresh. So no, I'm really excited for the full game release, to be honest.
Yeah, I've super got back into it. Like I say, Modern Warfare 3 got me back into it. I thought at my age, I was going to get absolutely owned by all the 12-year-olds, but I'm starting to hold my own now.
Nice, yeah, it's excellent. And the cool thing is, right, what I like with the full game is you've got, obviously, you don't just have the normal multiplayer. You've got the war zone as well, which I know certain people in this community love. They're going to be releasing a new Resurgence map when the full game launches as well. So there's something new for the Warzone players. And from what we've seen of the new campaign, that looks really good as well. So I think from what Angelos is just saying in the Twitch chat, that it's spent 3 years in development, which is a long time for a COD game, because usually it's like a 1 or 2 year turnaround. So they've put a lot of time and effort into this. It and it shows, you know what I mean. And obviously, I haven't mentioned the new zombies as well, which is going back to the old sort of zombies. So it looks like it's going to have a lot of content included. So, and obviously it's on Game Pass, as I say. So it's a win-win for us Game Pass subscribers. So yeah, so the beta, it's running at the minute for people who've pre-ordered the Vault Edition, people on Game Pass Ultimate, and then next weekend, well, this weekend coming, it's an open beta. They're upping the level caps to level 30. I think they're adding a new map and some modes, and you get some rewards if you get to the max level as well. So worth playing. Doesn't take long. I got up to level 20 just playing it on Saturday morning. It took me about 4 hours, and I was maxed, and then turned it off. So, but no, it's good. It's good to see. I think for me personally, it's good to see Call of Duty in a good place again, because Modern Warfare 2 I really enjoyed. Modern Warfare 3 kind of fell off it a little bit because it just wasn't. For me, it just didn't feel as good. But then this. It just feels like that classic COD to me, and that just brings up all those emotions, those memories and emotions, and just that fun. And obviously there's quite a few people in the community who play this, so yeah, I'm excited for the full game, and the beta is really, really good.
Yeah, sold me on it for sure. But I think also because I haven't played Call of Duty for a while, I haven't suffered from any burnout, so it feels nice and fresh again. Yeah.
And that does become a problem. So what I found with Modern Warfare 2 particularly, and I really enjoyed it, but what you do, well, what I was doing was buying the Battle Pass every season, and then it kind of, the problem with Battle Passes is they kind of force you to play the game because you feel like you need to play it to get to the end of that Battle Pass to make it worth your money. So as I say, you kind of feel forced into it, especially if you don't play it as much as other people. And I started to find when I stopped buying those battle passes, that enjoyment card started to come back a little bit more, because I was just playing it for fun and not just for that battle pass thing, But that's just a me thing. So yeah, Darren, I'm taking this doesn't interest you in the slightest.
Well, I've sort of haven't played a COD for years, to be honest. They take up too much hard drive space.
That is true. They do take up a lot of hard drive space. I think on my PC with Modern Warfare, I don't have Modern Warfare 2 installed because I don't own that on Game Pass, but I did obviously put that on Steam. It's 100 and I think it's like 155 gig on my PC for just Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and this beta. But the good thing about the CODs is you can choose what to install and uninstall, like in the menu options. So if you don't want the campaign, delete that 20 gig. You know what I mean? Don't want Warzone, delete that 34, 40 gig or whatever, So, but I know you don't have Game Pass, do you? So either.
No.
So.
Well, I technically do, but it's not the one that actually gets you anything.
Yeah, you got the core. Yeah. So, but no, it's good. It's good fun. And I think one of the reasons is because it's one of those games that most people kind of play multiplayer wise. It's good to get that multiplayer itch with your friends, and I think now it's coming to Game Pass, it's going to be super popular as well, like even more so. Yeah, all good, cool. Thank you, Frosty. I think we're happy with that, and I look forward to playing it more next weekend. Darren, you played anything?
I'll let you go. I'll skip a turn because I haven't played a lot. No.
Okay. Well, you've seen my list, so.
Have I?
Well, I did put it in the chat in our WhatsApp group, so if you haven't looked.
Yeah, probably not. I never saw it.
I know what you're like on our WhatsApp group. It takes you about a day or two to reply to me, doesn't it? So, okay. So I'm just going to go in order of my list I've got on here, because I'm just going to have to go back in my mind to a week or so ago. There was a little game that came out on Game Pass. It's been out a year or so, called Atlas Fallen. I don't know if any of you guys have played this.
Yeah, I've got it on PS5.
Oh, have you played any of this or?
I played a bit of the beginning part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting.
It is. Yeah, it's kind of reminds me of one of those like middle of the road games.
Yeah.
Not like a AAA and not like an indie, like that kind of sweet spot in between.
Yeah, like kind of one of those Xbox 360 double A games that you just enjoyed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I played a couple of hours of this a couple of weeks ago, just to see what it was like, and my initial impressions of it were are quite positive. Actually, I know it's got humdrum reviews, etc. And apparently it gets a bit boring later on, but obviously I've not got that far. It's just kind of like, it's a third-person action game, and you get some powers and stuff. So you get this like kind of bracelet thing on your arm, and you get some magic powers, and one of them is like to slide around the sand. So it's all set in the desert from where I've been at the minute. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Darksiders, which I love that game. So that's really cool. But the other thing that's drawn me to it as well is you can play through the whole game in co-op, in online co-op. So I did mention to Gav actually, like we should probably check this out in co-op together, because I think, you know, these sort of games, I know they're kind of, there's a lot of action because it's like kind of fighting. It's basically you lock onto your targets, your enemies, and you have a few different moves. Like you press like X to do a normal punch, Y to do a hard punch. You got your B for your dodge, and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It's just a fun, as I say, like kind of double A experience with a bit of exploration, some hidden stuff in the world, etc. And I think that sort of game would just be so much more fun in co-op, just chatting to your co-op buddy and just having some fun, exploring the world, fighting the enemies and the big bosses that come up. You know what I mean? So, really glad it's come to Game Pass, and I'll definitely be checking it out some more, because as I say, I've only played it for a couple of hours, and I just got a really good vibe from it, to be honest. So, yeah, just wanted to give it a shout out, really, just to say it's pretty fun, and you say it's on Game Pass, so check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Atlas Fallen, people. Right, back to you, Frosty.
Right, so a couple of weeks ago, I went to see the new Alien movie,
and
so
how was that?
It's okay. I'm a big Aliens fan, and I would say it's obviously still not as good as the first two. I would say not as good as the first three, but it's a better direction than they were heading in. Exactly, yeah. I see Prometheus and Covenant as their own sort of thing, really. But what it did mean is that I had that sort of Alien itch to scratch. So I've actually played a couple of Aliens games this week. So I downloaded Aliens Fireteam again. We played this a lot back in the day. I think I've played this with you, Webby, back in the day.
We both played it a lot together back in the day, yes.
Yeah. And then I saw that there was the DLC. I say new DLC, it's new to me, where it called Pathogen. And it basically gives you 3 extra missions with all new aliens, the engineers, storyline, etc., etc. And it sort of just got me playing it again. Unfortunately, only with bots, because there seems to be next to nobody playing this anymore.
I bet there's more people playing this than Concord. Lols!
Do you know, you're absolutely right. I did look. There was about 1,200 people playing it on Steam the other day.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. But no, they're all going to be, you know, on the highest difficulty levels, etc. But yes, I've just basically gone through the new DLC, like just single player. It's pretty good. It was only a tenner, you know, so gave it a little bit of extra life. And then I've just been sort of dropping back into it, doing some daily challenges, just for a bit of a quick blast through. The second Alien game that I've played is Alien Dark Descent.
Cool. Are these both on
the
Steam?
RTS one.
So yes, both on Steam.
Yeah.
Aliens Dark Descent is like an RTS style game. Not entirely real time, because you can slow time down to make decisions.
Okay.
Or you can actually go into the menu and alter that so that it actually completely pauses the game. But I've just got it slowing it down. It's an original storyline, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Actually, it's very simple to pick up for a real-time strategy game. There's nothing too taxing about it. Your squad, you can set them for like Overwatch fire in different directions, etc., etc. But yeah, so far I've played about 7 hours of it, and
nice.
I'm really enjoying it.
Excellent.
I think I picked that up dirt cheap as well on Steam. So yeah, anyone has an Alien itch to scratch, I would highly recommend that one.
Nice. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Kind of that top-down kind of isometric view, point and clicky type of movement.
You can also zoom right in, and the graphics are actually quite atmospheric.
I wonder if this plays on the Steam Deck, because I think that'd be quite a good Steam Deck.
Yeah, I can't see one. I don't think it's a system struggler.
No, definitely not from what I'm looking at right now. So nice, yeah. Look, it looks cool, man.
Yeah, that's my main game that I've really been playing over the last week.
Excellent.
I just needed something aliens.
Fair dues. That happens, mate.
Yeah.
Excellent, Smithers. Darren, do you want to talk to me yet?
Not yet. I'll pass quickly.
Okay, fair enough.
So I've only really got one sort of game to talk about.
All right, okay, that's fine. So, I like my shooters. There was a little beta on PC. It's just ended. But I loved it. I love the original Splitgate 2. The original Splitgate is on console and PC. It's a free-to-play title, and number 2 is coming out, I think, later on this year. If memory serves, I was in the closed beta the past week. Had to request access to it. Got access actually pretty quick, to be fair. So they must have been clamoring for players. If you've played Splitgate, you'll know what I'm on about. It's a really cool take on a first-person shooter. Think of Portal crossed with a really fast FPS, and this kind of what you get. So basically, it's I think it's 5v5 if memory serves, or 6v6. Anyway, it's a shooter, like a 5v5 shooter, not a hero shooter. Thank fuck, just a shooter. Has really fast and fluid gameplay. Feels very much like Call of Duty, kind of that fast movement. That's what I can kind of compare it to, with the feels on controllers and a mouse and keyboard. And basically you got these arenas, but there's all these walls on the arenas, and you can chuck some portals into them. So you get, like, your left bumper is one portal and your right bumper is the other, and obviously, like, once you got 2 portals down, they connect and you can jump through. But you can't just jump through them, you can shoot through them and see everything that's and see that and everything that's going on. So it actually makes for some really good tactical gameplay, especially on some of the larger maps. I've had some maps where, like, I've been a sniper and I've chucked a couple of portals down and just been sniping enemies through my portal, or jumping through my portal and sneaking up behind people and taking them out. Getting up to really high areas by doing the old portal trick of getting a couple of portals down and getting your speed up really fast by falling through them multiple times. It's really clever. So it's really clever design, because I think to myself, like, that's a really tough design to do, like making all those portals on top of a shooter. There's a lot going on in the game there for you to see everything that's going on in the portal, and obviously you're not the only one using one. I think it's a really cool gameplay mechanic, and it just makes for a really fun first-person shooter. Now, obviously, it is free to play. There is microtransactions in there. On the original, I've never spent any money. Obviously, in a closed beta on this, didn't spend any money. But it's just the usual shite that you don't need to buy, right? Skins for your dudes and your guns. There's no pay-to-win bollocks. So you could just play it for free, not pay anything, and still have a lot of fun on this game. There is obviously your season passes and shit like that, right? But it's something completely different, right? You know, when you think you've got the big games out there like COD and Battlefield and these other shooters, I don't know, Counter-Strike or whatever, Valorant, maybe, you know, this is just something completely different. No other game has done it like this. That's what I like. I like something fresh, something new, right? In the first Splitgate, I played a hell of a lot, and I'm totally going to be playing Splitgate 2 when it comes out, because again, it's just how it's fucking fun, man. So yeah, Splitgate 2, baby, check it out. Well, the beta's closed now, but when it comes out, check it out. Yeah, back to you, Frosty, mate.
Well, I'm going to give a special mention to this. I haven't actually played it this week, but I want to get some eyes on this game.
Yeah,
and it's the Hunt Showdown.
Yes, that's on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, is this the new revised version of it?
Yeah, there is an update. Yeah.
I hadn't played it before this new revision, so I don't know what it was like before. But it was you, Webby, that said, "Oh, you know, anyone want to give this game a shot?" And again, as it was just a cheap purchase, I was looking for a new shooter, something to get my teeth into. And this game is really good. I don't know why I didn't play it when it first came out. It's an extraction shooter. I think they just completely renewed all the graphics and everything, from what I understand. It's been a huge update. But we've had a good laugh, a good few games on this.
We have.
I mean, it's brutal. It's not for the faint-hearted. Everyone who you come up against has probably been playing it since they were 10.
Yeah.
And they're all incredibly good at it. But I just like the fear that it gives you when you're trying to get out with all your goods.
Yeah.
And the fear of when you weren't expecting a giant monster to come out the water and start pulling you under.
Oh, you shit your pants on that bit. Oh. You were screaming down the headset at me. Oh my God. Ah, it scared me.
I don't know whether there's any kind of cross-play on it or not.
No, I don't know either. It would be good if there was. It's a great game. So I played it originally when it came out, but not a lot, because it's a game you really need to play with other people, even though there is now a solo mode on there, and that wasn't on there before. And I played a little bit of that the past week, and that's actually really good. So basically, it gives you a free character, but basically there's only one person who can extract out of the map. So it just makes it it's so much fun, right? Because everyone's after each other, wants to get the monster and extract the goodies. But what they've improved in the game, from my memory, is obviously the graphics are fantastic. There's a new map, and I think we've been playing on that map. It certainly looks fresher to me anyway, from my memory. And I think that's probably about it. Well, people were complaining about the menu system, but it seemed okay to me, so I don't know what people were bitching about. But what I like, right, okay, there is some positives. There is a few things that frustrate me a little bit. So basically, it is very hardcore. So you get a character and you kit them out, but if you die in the game, you lose that character and all their shit. So then you got to spend your in-game money to buy a new character and outfit them all from fresh again. That's very hardcore. Obviously not for everybody. I think it's okay though. I don't really mind it, because the game itself is so atmospheric, and what they've done with the sound design, in my opinion, is just phenomenal. Like, you need to be playing this with headphones on, because Oh my God. It is insane. The surround sound on this is insane. And you can hear everything like when like your footsteps going through the grass, breaking twigs, monsters in the background. And the game actually does revolve a lot around sound, right? So there's stuff in the world, like there'll be like a flock of birds like in the background or a horse or something like that, and you get too close and the birds will fly away like they're crows, so they make noise, right? And or there's a horse like laying on the floor and you get too close to that and it'll go nah, nah, you know what I mean? But the noise is like they warn the AI enemies that are in the vicinity, but they also warn other real life players that could be near. Because it's an interesting game, right? Because you've got this massive open world and there's AI enemies scattered around everywhere, but there's also real life players that are also on the map with you, all trying to do the same objective, right? So the objective is there's two bosses on a map, and you've got to find the clues on the map to figure out where the boss is. You go to the boss, it's a big ass fight for the boss. You beat the boss, and then you got to claim you got to banish them, right? And that banishing takes a couple of minutes, Frosty, doesn't it? So you're kind of sitting there waiting for this banishing to happen. But when the banishing is happening, everyone on the fucking map can see that a banishing is going on there. So you're kind of like shitting your pants, waiting for the banishing to finish. And then you've got to grab the stuff once it's happened and try and extract from an extract point on the map. And this is where it gets quite hairy because people have different tactics, right? So people will be, when you're fighting a monster and they hear you, they'll rush in, kill you, kill the monster. Or people will wait for you to finish the banishing, wait outside the building and try and snipe you. People wait at the extract points. You know, all these kind of variables come into play, right? And it makes it fucking nuts because we had a game where we knew that some people had done the banishing and we were waiting at this extract point and we fucking snuck up on them and ended up having a fight and we killed the dude as he was trying to extract in the extract point. And it was fucking hilarious. We were laughing our asses off because they'd done all the hard work. And then we just killed them at the extract point and nicked their shit and extracted ourselves.
Dude was probably having a seizure after that.
Yeah, but it was so funny. Like we were just like, oh my God, I can't believe we've just done that, right? And then there was another one where me and Frosty we knew where one of the monsters was and we were coming up on the area, but then we saw enemies and we ended up having quite a prolonged battle with a couple of teams. And we killed a few of the enemies and Frosty got downed and I was trying to revive him, but the enemies were kind of lurking around. So I was like being really sneaky. And then I killed one of them in the woods. And then there was a dude in the house and he could see Frosty's corpse. So I couldn't revive him because this dude was trying to fucking shoot me from the window. So I was like, oh, I've got to try and kill this dude. And I managed to drop him, but I didn't know I dropped him. So I shot him in the window and I was thinking, oh, did I drop him or not? And then I went in the building and then the fucking boss monster was there. I was like, oh my God. I was fucking shitting my pants going, Frosty, I don't know if I'm going to kill this guy. And then I managed to drop the monster.
In the doorway.
Yeah. So then, yeah, it was weird because there was a trap in the door. The monster got trapped in the door, stuck. And then I'd fucking killed the monster. And I was like, yeah, we fucking killed the monster. And I was like, right. And then I jumped out of the house, revived Frosty. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this fucking experience we've just had. We've just killed like 2 teams of people in these woods and one in the building, beat the monster, fucking survived, got the shit. Let's get the fuck out of this level now. You know what I mean? And it was just that adrenaline rush as you were trying to, as all these things were going on at once, you know, and it's just so random.
And I think you say as well, really, because you've got the permadeath, that's where that heightened, like, all that adrenaline comes from because there's so much at stake with your character.
Oh, 100%, you know, and that's, you know, because I think if you didn't have that permadeath thing with Hunt Showdown, it would just be like, oh yeah, I've died, I'll just launch back in, a bit like when you play Call of Duty Warzone, you know what I mean? You die and you're knocked out of that game, well, you just reload straight back into the next one within a minute, you know what I mean? Whereas this, it's kind of like, I don't want to die, I don't want to lose all this loot I've just got, I don't want to lose my dude, I've leveled him up, my guns and all that. So you're really like that pressure is on to get the shit and get the fuck out of that level. You know what I mean? And it's quite sometimes it can be quite frustrating when you're in the map and you just get sniped out of nowhere and you're dead. That is annoying, to be honest. But it's just part of the game at the end of the day. It's what you've got to remind yourself. But it's just a really cool gameplay loop. I like that because it's like you have this vision thing and you fight and there's clues. And then once you get the 3 clues, it shows you where the monster, where the monster is, which you got to beat. But you could just randomly go to the monster area without even finding the clues, and then you'd be fighting the monster just completely unawares, which has happened a few times as well. So,
they added a new monster, didn't they, in the update, like a fire thing.
All right. Oh, don't
fire enemy. Because obviously there's like 3 or 4 sort of boss enemies in the game, isn't there? Like in the different zones.
Yeah.
The new fire boss is just randomly somewhere on the map as well, I believe as well. But I've just had a look. It is cross-play between consoles, but not PC.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
I guess. It's a shame. I don't want to buy it again on console.
No, and no cross-progression either.
No. But no, I think the selection of weapons is really good because it's set in, like, obviously the late 1800s. The guns are very slow. You know, you get one shot, reload, another shot. So it's very slow and methodical. A lot of the game, though, is melee weapons. Like when you're fighting the zombies and shit, you want to be quiet. And that's the whole part of the game, right? You got your guns, but they make a lot of noise. So then obviously if you shoot, other players are going to know your rough location, right? So it's always worth bringing in like a samurai sword or something like that. And you can kind of chop the zombies' heads off and stuff. So there is a lot to think about when you're playing this game. That's what makes it so fun. I love it. I think it's such a good experience.
With the guns as well, Webby, I actually watched a YouTube video of they brought in a gun expert, and he was just seeing how accurate the guns in the game are to their real life guns, and he had most of the guns with him.
Oh, right.
And even down to some of the writing on the guns is accurate. I'll see if I can dig it out and put it on the Discord.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I'll be wicked to have a look at that, yeah.
But yeah, I would like to get more eyes on this game, some more people to come and join, because it's 3-player co-op.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, me and Frosty have been going into the games, just me and him, because I don't put the squad fill option on. But obviously, if I did, it would be one random with us. So we're kind of at a disadvantage because we're up against teams of 3 players. It's just the 2 of us. So, but it's still a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, mate. Awesome. Back to you, Darren.
Not a good time.
Okay, me again.
Sorry, I'm in the boss fight.
I'm going to talk.
I was hoping to be done by the time it came back
That's
around.
all right, mate. Okay, I'm going to talk about a game that I'm surprised I think is fucking shit. I know we've been quite positive so far, but I thought this would be better than what it is. Valve game called Deadlock. I got into the closed beta on this on Steam. There's been quite a few betas going on recently. This is made by Valve, and Valve usually make really good games, but unfortunately, I think this is a pile of shit. I played it for half an hour, and I swiftly deleted it. So, do you remember about, I don't know, 15 years ago? Maybe, I don't know for longer, maybe 50, yeah, when MOBAs were a thing. Do you remember that? Though, back in the day. Well, do you remember when hero shooters were a thing as well? That was quite a while ago, right? Well, this is a MOBA / hero shooting game, 3rd person, 6v6, MOBA / hero shooter. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking making this. Make Half-Life 3 for fuck's sake. Seriously, man, it looks like you know, like the Fortnite graphics. It looks like a shit version of the Fortnite graphics. And it's kind of like all the characters just look really weird. Like they're aiming at 12-year-olds or something. But it's basically in a city map, this beta, the city map looks dull and crap. And basically, the 6 of you jump into the different lanes as you do with a MOBA. And then you got to get and destroy the towers where all these enemies and other heroes are running around, trying to kill you, etc. I say there's different characters that you can be. They all have different kind of specials. Didn't really get into it too much because this game is fucking arse. But that is basically the gist of it. And it just really surprised me just how bland this game is, because obviously it's Valve. As I say, they usually put a lot of care and attention into their games, and it's just bland fucking shite. And yeah, that's just my opinion on it. I know I think a lot of people online have said a similar thing. But yeah, Deadlock, if you're enjoying it, let me know, because I want to know why you're enjoying it. But sorry to be the bearer of bad news, the Webby seal of approval is not there. It's a fucking turd. So when this comes out, I can envisage this being a bit of a flop. So I've called it now. Flippy flop when it comes out. Webby out. Deadlock sucks balls.
Looks a little bit Team Fortressy with the graphic style.
Kinda, yeah. It's I don't get it. It's not. I mean, MOBAs aren't really my thing anyway. But there was that one on BattleNet that I got into for a little while, and that was actually quite fun. But this is just fucking awful. It's just so boring. I just don't know what they were thinking. So
it just might be one of those things that some people will enjoy, but you don't. Obviously, is the game type it is or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, Deadlock sucks balls. We're going to move on back to Frosty.
I haven't really got more to go with. I've done a little bit of iRacing, as I always do, but
yeah.
we've spoken to about that to death on here. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
I've got quite a few games I want to talk about. Darren, just nudge me when you want to say something. All right, mate.
Now I've got a break now.
Oh, go for it then.
Yeah.
What are you playing right now that's distracting you so much?
The game I'm talking about, first Descendant.
Oh, they had it,
obviously, yeah. So this week was the big update, the Invasion update, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Went live on Thursday. Added a new character, Haley, who's like a sniper character. Ideally, people sort of found out that the update's coming in 2 patches, like one now, the other one a bit later in October. And that's when they're adding like Freya's story and Ultimate Freyner as well as a character. So this time they were just adding the invasions and obviously the Haley character. It didn't take long after the update went live for people's anger to sort of like start to raise quite a bit. So obviously, as you know, Webby, when you played the game, you used to complete different activities with the sole objective of getting hold of a character's stabilizer, catalyst, enhanced cells, and the character blueprint to obviously craft the character.
Yep.
To do this with the new character Haley, they completely changed that entire mechanic.
Okay.
Now you still have to get the catalysts, the cells, and obviously the blueprint and all that sort of stuff. But now you need 36 of each of these.
So that's going to take quite a bit of time to get them then. Quite a lot of grinding.
Well, yes. You can get multiple in certain runs of this new content. the Invasion Dungeons, which are basically puzzle dungeons.
Oh, not the puzzles.
Yeah. And everyone quickly got pissed. I played the story mission that introduces you to the puzzle dungeons, and I literally noped out after the first attempt.
Right.
You had to go up on... I'd cleared the first room, got to the second room. Basically, you go to these different rooms. You've got a platform. You go up on top of the platform for this puzzle, and it shows you a blocked door at the end of the room, and it's got 3 coloured patterns on it. And then these multiple pads on the floor all have the different colours on. As soon as you jump down, those colours disappear, so it's like a memory game of which ones you've got to stand on in order. So while you're doing this, you are getting non-stop attacked, and you have to stand on these things for extended periods of time to change them to the colour. And then you move on to the next one to get them all in order. Now, the first room didn't actually go too bad, but when you get into the second room, they introduce another part of that wank mechanic where certain enemies will turn up and reset the fucking panels that you just stood on. So you've got to do it again.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And after just running around in circles for 10 minutes before it went mission failed, I was just like, you know what, you can stick these up your arse. I've got no interest in doing these kind of dungeons in a shooter game. In a shooter game. And they basically said, because obviously you've got the outposts, I don't know if you actually went into them, they're like strategic outposts on each different parts of the map. You charge in, gun down the generators, and then a boss turns up and you gun him down. So there's a mechanic where you can only use it with one character, Sharon, who goes invisible. And she can stealth in there and smash all of the things, and if she gets to smash them all and the boss spawns, on hard difficulty, and especially on hard, you actually get access to extra rewards that you can't get from doing the outpost normally. And they said, we're looking at other ways of doing that because we kind of want to speed the game up and make it more fluid. And it's, what? By adding puzzle dungeons? So some of the latter versions of the puzzles that they had later on is you'll go in to do bosses and there'll be all these coloured pads on the floor which are actually lit up so you can actually see what they are. And the boss will have a shield on, and you need to stand on top of the right colour for the shield to shoot his shield off while still standing on that pad. Before you can actually damage him again. That's actually not too bad, although I can imagine, depending on the circumstances, it could be annoying. Then there's another one where basically you've got these big towers with like polyps all over them. And you've got to shoot the polyps off the towers to undercover symbols that are on there. And you need to find 4 symbols from the 4 different towers that are along this map that match perfectly with the 4 symbols on top of these drones that are like flowing about. All the time you're doing this, you're getting constantly attacked, by the way. And then when you found the right drone, you overload the drone, it drops a charge rifle, which you then have a limited amount of time to run to the end of the map to shoot holes in a doorway to open the door up. And it will take you about 2 or 3 runs to do that, to get through those. And I was like, obviously I was watching other people doing it on YouTube, other people sort of like complaining about it. But yeah, it's just horrendous. And also, when you actually unlock these invasion dungeons, they're solo content. They're not even... You can't do them as a group. You're literally forced into doing them on... You can only do them on the hardest difficulty. And you're forced to do them solo.
That's shit, because, you know, this game is designed for co-op and multiplayer play, right? You know, and force you into solo shit, it's just... silly, in my opinion.
I mean, there was a huge backlash on the day. A lot of people sort of saying, "What is this story mission? This is horrendous. These dungeons are boring. I don't want to play content like this. I played this to play with my mates in co-op. We can't play." Suffice to say, the developers have actually listened.
Good.
And they are making changes. because, like, for this to be the big explosive kind of reason for people to come back, because some people have grinded all the characters they wanted and got the weapons and they were looking for stuff to do, and they've obviously come back for this, and it's like, oh, what's this? And it's like, oh my god, like, not my cup of tea. Now, fair enough, you've got certain people out there that are literally like, oh, it's alright, you just need Ultimate Bunny and run round in circles, you're electricity, zapping everything. And it's like, I can completely understand, but not everyone wants a character built like that.
Yeah.
And everyone shouldn't have characters built like that, because as we know in these games, once something becomes a meta, the developers will destroy that meta.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, you want to do this? Yeah, we're going to cancel that and we're going to nerf it. And they've basically said we don't want to nerf it. But there's been times when I've gone into dungeons, like the hard dungeons in co-op, and I'm running through them. And I don't even get to see a single enemy until I get to the boss at the end, because a couple of bunnies have just sprinted off at the start and nuked everything before you, like, while you're chasing it, which is cool. But if they nuke the mid-bosses and things like that, all of their drops have gone. And you sometimes run those missions to get the materials from the mid-bosses.
Yeah.
Because they're good for crafting. And they did a lot of good quality of life updates in this. So they have upped the drop rates for, obviously, the mid-boss drops. So there was, like, I remember on, I think it was like Hagios, which is one of the missions. There was only one of them I did, because one of them's fucking awful and wants you to jump through all these laser puzzle shit, which I hate in the game. Like, can't stand that sort of part of it, as you know, Webby, those silly little platforming bits that shouldn't exist. So there's one of those, and it used to drop like 9 heat activators or so if you were lucky, or heat plasma batteries. Now if you run through that on the hardest, you can get about 50 something in a run, because there's like 4 or 5 bosses that spawn there and they drop about 10 each.
Okay.
Which is awesome, because obviously you need a lot of those for obviously crafting the enhancement material, the energy activators enhancement material, which increases your mod capacity by 20% for your Descendant. They did an emergency patch on Saturday, which apparently improved the drop of the Haley components in normal dungeons and not the invasion versions of them.
Okay.
On the hard difficulty, so I've been running those instead. I don't know if the drop rate's fantastic, because I've run some of them about 8 times and seen 1 drop. Considering you got 36 of each. But it seemed to me like they purposely time-gated that content.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, it's a free to play, mate. You know what I mean? They're going to have people playing as long as
it's
possible.
Understandable. Yeah, it's understandable. I mean, they've just sort of like done the new season with the new season pass and all that lot, which is, I will say, the season pass on the first Descendant is one of the best.
Okay.
That not necessarily for the rewards, but in the amount of time it actually takes. Like, you don't have to play it every day to get the season pass done.
Right. Okay.
Whereas certain other games, you feel like you've got to absolutely hammer it non-stop to get it done. Whereas this season pass, I think, it's been going a while. It's got 94 days left on it, and it's only got 96 levels on it anyway.
Okay.
And if you complete all your dailies, you'll get 2 levels out of that every day.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's not too bad.
So it'd be easy enough to complete it within 30 days.
Yeah.
Because you've got weeklies on top that give you full levels, and then on top of that, you've got like the season challenges. Like, I got one done earlier, which was complete 200 missions on hard difficulty.
Right, okay.
Sort of a thing. So it's not, and I'm not too far off the 300 one either. They've also kind of sped up the leveling system, I believe, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I was using like a 30% level bonus, which you get for doing like these mini quests each day. Like, if you complete research, any bit of research, I think you get like a 5-hour 30% character boost. If you complete a couple of the Void battles, you'll get components from them as well. Energy activators, all that kind of sort of stuff they're starting to sort of throw at you, but as sort of challenges rather than like just a daily login bonus kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, using my bonus, I leveled my Freyner twice through from 0 to 40 today in about an hour and a half.
Oh wow!
Like using Catalyst, basically finishing her off. So there's like all of her abilities are basically done. I could put another one in, but I haven't got the right Transcendent mod to slot into a special ability yet to make it worth it. So her gun's fully done up as well. So all good.
Nice, mate. I'm glad you're still enjoying it. I do think it's a good game, mate. But I think for me, it's kind of like got to the end of the campaign. It's kind of like I can't be fucked to grind shit. But the core gameplay, I think it's really good. To be fair,
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty interesting quality of life things as well that got added. I think they were added before this update, but I was only made aware of it because of a YouTube thing. Right, so if you're actually searching for certain components like auxiliary components, sensors, memory cores, or processor chips, or even like your reactors for your character, you can go onto the map of the actual game itself.
Right.
Click in R3 and it'll bring up difficulty level rewards. And you can literally basically search for the things you want and it will tell you where they drop.
Oh, that's good.
And there'll be like one or two things that are on like a 1 or 2 day rotation in certain areas.
Right.
And if you go to those areas and complete missions in those areas, you'll get way more of that drop. So if you're trying to farm for a certain reactor, like I've just got here on Starfall Road, they're dropping toxic reactors. So if you want to farm toxic reactors, that's where you go for it.
Nice. Okay.
And also things for weapons and that. So there's a lot there, and obviously over time it will improve. But it is nice that the devs are at least seeing people's frustrations and kind of annoyances and working on it quickly.
Yeah.
Not that they really have too much choice because they obviously don't want those player numbers to decrease because it's very hard to get your player numbers back up once they've started to go down.
Definitely, yeah. Awesome.
But yeah, I did also get, well, since the last podcast, I think I've got about another 3 or 4 characters.
Wow.
Managed to get another 2 ultimate descendants as well, so that's all good.
Nice. Have you bought any of them with real cash, or you just been grinding?
Oh no! I've just been grinding them.
Fair dues.
The funniest thing was I almost found it harder to actually get the last of the normal characters because you start with the 3 starters, don't you? Viessa, Ajax, and Jaber. Not Jaber. I can't remember his name. Lepic. Sorry. And actually researching the ones that you didn't choose seemed to be more of a bugger than actually trying to get hold of their ultimate versions. So I was sort of sat there today, like burning through a load of amorphous materials on one of the reactors, and it was just like constantly giving me the same thing over and over again. I was like, I just want this last 10% for my Ajax cat, please, come on. Then I think I had about 3 left. I'd almost burnt through 15. And I'd also used some stabilizers to increase the percentages. And then it finally dropped, and I was like, thank Christ. That's the relief. That's like one of the happiest things, because you're like, right, that's that done now.
Yeah,
I can move on to something else. I can work on another character or work on the last bits for certain, getting the other weapons. Because I think the weapons are actually more interesting to try and get than the characters to a degree, because you need 5 of them.
Right.
So those epic weapons, or the ultimate weapons, you need 1 base weapon, and then you need 4 other versions of it to feed into it to increase its ability up to the maximum potential.
Right, okay.
Otherwise, its ability doesn't trigger as often as it does when it's all maxed out.
Nice.
But yeah.
Cool, mate. No, I'm glad you're still enjoying it, and I will be back on at some point. I've still got it installed, so...
Yeah, like I say, they're doing an emergency maintenance, I believe. Well, they've had the emergency maintenance on Saturday. They're doing another maintenance this coming Thursday, which is actually going to change some of the stuff in the puzzle dungeons people are unhappy with. I think lower some of the difficulty of it a little bit. Whether or not they're adding the co-op to the puzzle dungeons then, I don't know, but they have said they are working on adding that. So they're going to make these solo dungeons actually co-op.
Nice.
Which would be way better, because fair enough you're going to have people with sort of super overpowered builds. I mean, I can go through like hard dungeons on my own.
Yeah.
Reasonably fine. But then you'll have other people who haven't put like 6 or 7 stabilizers into their weapons and character and reset them countless times to obviously like level them up. They might not be as powered up, and they're going to jump into some of that harder content and be like, oh, this isn't fun at all.
Yeah. Fair dues. Cool. All right. Nice one, mate. That's the first Descendant, everyone. Check it out. Right. I played a few more games. I was going to mention, obviously, I played this a couple of weeks ago, but wanted to give it a mention. As I've actually deleted it now. I thought it was average, but someone might like it. I thought this was a game that Darren might like. It's called Kunitsi-Gami Path of the Goddess.
Oh, is this the Capcom sort of like RTS-y kind of hack and slash thing?
It's weird as fuck. Yeah.
There's a demo for it on all systems, I believe.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass. So I downloaded the full game, checked it out. Not really my cup of tea. I mean, I like the kind of premise, like you're like a samurai and it's set in like kind of that Japanese era sort of stuff. But it is not really, it's weird because it's like basically you go to an area and you kill a load of monsters, and then in the daytime you like set your dudes up to defend this goddess lady. And then you basically, she's got to walk to the gate to close it, but it takes her fucking ages. And then it gets to night time, and then the gate opens, and all these fucking monsters come out, and you just got to hope your defenses hold up, and you've got to go in there and fight all the fuckers with your samurai sword. It's kind of a weird kind of side, like the level I played was kind of like a side scrolly, but at a weird angle, if that makes sense. Graphically, it looks quite nice, but it's just that kind of tower defensey gameplay. I've never really enjoyed tower defense games. There's not really ever clicked with me. That's probably why I'm not really into this. But it's kind of that mixture where it's like third person hacky slashy game plus the tower defense. I don't know, man. I mean, I think you probably like it, Darren, because it seems like it's quite up your street, but it really didn't gel with me from what I played. I played it for an hour or so, and that was enough for me. But yeah, graphically it's nice. The actual like combat's decent. It's just that whole, you're in this village, save the people. Now you got to set up your defenses, and this woman walks really fucking slow to get to the gate to close it. I was just like, yeah, it's not for me. But it might be for other people. I don't know. But it's on Game Pass. Check it out if you've got Game Pass. Yeah. Interesting game. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Frosty? Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games to discuss.
I have got a couple of things. So I did try the new remasters of Doom and Doom 2 that appeared on Game Pass.
Yeah.
They are still Doom and Doom 2, but it's the smoothest versions that you're going to play. But the reason why I wanted to just quickly talk about that is because somebody has modded Doom 2.
Oh.
I did put a little video of this up in the retro section of the Discord.
Yes.
And they have modded full ray tracing into Doom 2.
That's hilarious.
And if there's ever an advert for what ray tracing can do for your game, that is the video to look at. It looks quite stunning. it looks like it's just brought it into the 2024.
Yeah, it looks. I'm just watching it now. It looks very like retro, but stylized with that lighting. It looks cool. Yeah.
When you think that all they've done is put ray tracing into it, everything else, the graphics are still the same.
Yeah.
It changes the whole entire feel of the game.
Yeah, man. That's cool.
So I wanted to quickly tap that one in there, and then the other thing, which isn't a game, but I just wanted to give it a mention as well, is I watched the new Borderlands movie.
Oh, and that's been getting panned at the cinema, mate.
Yep, it's been getting absolutely panned. I tell you what, I enjoyed it.
What?
That's fair enough.
Yep, I enjoyed it. It's not going to win any awards, but I think that they actually, the style of it was pretty good.
Okay. Well,
it did feel like you was in the Borderlands world. The story is pretty basic. Everything about it is just turn your brain off and don't think about it too much.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I don't think it's worth all of the hate that it was getting.
Why did it get so much hate? I don't know. I didn't really look into it. I just saw it had the shit reviews and that was it.
I think it was one of those that was fun and cool to hate on.
Okay. Have you watched this, Darren, or not?
No, it's out on streaming now, I believe, on sort of a few bits and bobs. But I think the first thing I think that confused people was they cast people that were like way too old to play those characters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we know why, because they wanted sort of named people to be cast rather than sort of like having sort of like nobodies. But everyone's got to start off somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, like most of the cast of the Lord of the Rings, bar a couple of them, were like people that weren't particularly well known.
Yeah.
But I mean, even I was hearing a lot of people say, "Oh, Jack Black as Claptrap was horrible, horrendous." I thought he did a perfectly decent job. He seemed like Claptrap to me.
Hmm.
The only one that's a little bit jarring, really, for me is Kevin Hart's character, because he's just too small.
Poland.
But yeah, I give it a shot and see what you think, really. But I don't think it was worth all the hate that it's getting.
Fair dues.
Other than that, that's everything for me this week.
What about you, Darren? Is there anything else you wanted to discuss before I go into my
not
games?
Particularly, no.
All right. There's been 2 demos this week I've played. Remember demos, everyone? There's been 2 this week. Oh my goodness!
Get out of the fucking game.
Okay, Darren, calm down.
Sorry,
calm down. There's a demo for a game that's just come out called Visions of Mana. Secrets of Mana. Remember that game? Well, this is the next game in the series. It's been about 20 odd years since the original. I played a demo for this, and man, this is fucking awesome. So it kind of reminds me of the Darren will know what I'm on about when I talk about the Tales games, like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Berseria. It's kind of that similar kind of art style with the graphics, cartoony graphics, and very similar with the exploration, and the combat system feels very similar to the Tales games as well. So basically, it's a open world JRPG set in a fantasy land. Graphics are gorgeous, and there's enemies on the world map, and you walk into them, and then you start battling in real time. And you've got like your X button for soft attack, Y button for hard attack. Got magic spells. But I love these kind of JRPGs because they're just like really funky, cool graphics. Not for everybody, I know, very niche. And just with a really cool kind of story going on. Obviously, I don't know the full extent because obviously I've only played the demo. Chucks you in partway through the game. But it's got some good world exploration. As I say, it's super high fantasy. And that's what I really like in a JRPG. We haven't had a decent RPG for a little while. The last one I played was Final Fantasy, I think, and so I love that. But I think it's great, and so I just wanted to give it a mention. Visions of Mana. Haven't purchased it though, because obviously it's a full price title, 70 quid, and I've already picked up a couple of games to play in September. One of them I've pre-ordered, is out next week, which is Test Drive Solar Crown. And the other one I'm going to talk about now because I played the demo for that this week, and I fucking pre-ordered it as soon as I finished the demo because it was amazing. That game is The Casting of Frank Stone. And some of you might be sitting there thinking, what the fuck is that? Well, I'm going to tell you. Casting of Frank Stone, do you know the the Until Dawn sort of games, the like those sort of titles? So you know Until Dawn, people? The fucking words just vanished from my head. The Dark Pictures games. You know, the Man of Medan and all those sort of games.
It's actually not by them, is it?
It is. It is.
No, is it?
Yeah,
I thought this was by the Dead by Daylight people.
No, it's not. It's not. So it's from the world of Dead by Daylight, but it's actually made by the people that did
Supermassive.
Yes. So, because I'll go through the Wikipedia, right? It's got obviously The Quarry, Little Nightmares, but it's got like the Little Hope, the Man of Medan, Until Dawn on there. And then they've got in here The Casting of Frank Stone. And then their next game after that's going to be Little Nightmares 3, and then the Dark Pictures Directive 8020. So I'm a huge fan of the Dark Pictures games. I've played them all. I just think they're great because I always play them in couch co-op with the missus. They're really good, fun games to play. So if you played these games before, you'll know what they're like. If not, they are story-driven adventure games, but basically you do a little bit of walking around and exploring. But the main crux of these games is there's a lot of dialogue, and the choices affect the outcomes of what's going to happen throughout the rest of the game. Also, there's quite a few quick time events which you need to get right, because if you don't get them right, your characters can die permadeath, as in some of the previous titles. The graphics are amazing. They always use well-known actors in these games as well. And the demo was really cool. You're a cop back in like I can't remember what fucking time it is, the 60s or something. You're a sheriff, and then you got to find this missing girl in this steel factory place. You got to explore, and they do a really good job in this demo of the atmosphere of the game. It keeps the tension going. You meet some really good characters along the way. And I think this demo is kind of a prologue, because in the main game, it's more recent times, and there's like a movie going on in this area, and shit goes down, man. But yeah, it's really cool. And the reason I pre-ordered it on Xbox, it was only, I think it was like £33, which I think is really reasonable for a video game.
Yeah, I don't think any of their ones have actually been like super full price. I think their most expensive one was The Quarry, which was around 45-50, I think.
Yeah. And that's why I always buy these on launch, because I know they always end up about a year down the line coming to PS Plus and Game Pass. I get it, right? But at that price, I'm happy to pay it to get the game on launch. And that's one of the reasons why I've not purchased Visions of Mana, because it's 70 quid. And I'm like, fucking hell, I don't want to pay 70 quid for a game,
How's it 70 quid?
If to download on Xbox, it's 70 quid.
Wow. I think I paid about 50 something.
On
PC, PC's £39.
What, for Visions of Mana?
Yeah.
That's not bad. That is not bad at all. It's 50 quid on Steam, but I'm guessing on CD keys it's a little bit cheaper.
CD keys, yeah. $38.99.
Yeah.
So the guys who made that game, they made the Until Dawn as well?
Yes.
Because they're re-releasing that soon as well, aren't they? Which
I think is a bit of a piss take. Like, and hear me out, right? I know it's been a few years, right? You got to think, right? Until Dawn is on PS Plus, and you can still play it now, and it looks great, right? Come out on PS4, graphics are great. Yes, there is a remaster of the game coming out, which is just a graphical update. And I think they've added a tiny bit to the story. But for that, they're charging 70 quid for it. And I just think that's taking the piss. Go on.
Because they then get to sell it to the PC crowd.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why they've been remastering a lot of their sort of older titles, because they know that the PC people aren't going to pay top dollar for something that looks like it's like 8 years old.
Yeah.
The visuals have been rebuilt in the Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
This is why we had like all the Last of Us remasters and stuff that actually went on.
Yeah, but still, I think full price for a remaster. Personally, I think it's ripping people off. But think of that.
Yeah, because I don't even remember. I don't remember Capcom sort of charging like 60, 70 quid for like the RE4 remakes and stuff. I think they were around like the 50 sort of mark as well.
Yeah.
Mind you, for if it's for people like me, I've never played the original.
Yeah, I know that, but still, if you have a PlayStation and you've got PS Plus, you would just play the original version because it's part of your package, right? Obviously, PC, it's a different story. If you don't have a console, I get it, but on PC it'll probably be 50 quid. Yeah, I imagine. I don't know.
I'm actually quite excited because I have actually only just finished The Quarry.
Oh, great game. Absolutely great game. This is what I love these games. I mean, for me, my love affair with these type of games started with Fahrenheit / Indigo Prophecy, if you're a Yank. And like those type of games, I just love that kind of movie-like experience in a video game, and they're just so fun to play with friends as well, couch carp, etc. And they're kind of a niche to their own, you know what I mean? And I think they're great.
With The Quarry, I played it with my wife, my 2 daughters, and my eldest daughter's boyfriend. We all just sat round, a couple of times during the week, and had an absolute blast with it. There's not really anything like that. So if Until Dawn is similar, it could be our next sort of game for us all to play.
And as I say, you've got all the Dark Pictures games as well, mate, that you could go through as well, and they're all really good. I can't think of a bad one, to be honest with you. I think they do such a good job. So, I just wanted to give this game a big shout because it's kind of come out of nowhere, this casting of Frank Stone, and I'm just really glad because I knew that they were bringing out that Directive 8020 as their next Dark Pictures game in that universe, whereas this is its own thing. So I'm super excited. I really am. It's out this week. So I think it's out Tuesday when the podcast comes out, I believe. So yeah, I'll be playing it this week. So I can't wait. Awesome. What else was there? Okay, so last 2 games then, just very quickly. I'm playing through Mafia Definitive Edition at the moment. It's on Game Pass. And I know it's a few years old now, I get it. But I've never played the Definitive Edition. I played the original back in the day, 2002, I think it came out. And I watched a couple of videos actually on the comparisons, and obviously, wowzers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've done such a good job. Yeah. But what I like about it is, back in the day, they just made good fun games. You know what I mean? Just no nonsense. Like this is it's like playing through a season of The Sopranos. You know what I mean? I love The Sopranos, massive fan of the show. Obviously, I love this game back in the day. And they just did such a good job with it because I think they did it right. And it's a little bit like GTA with the open world and driving around and shit. But the game, in the story, it's split into, what's the word? Like chapters. You know what I mean? So you'll finish a chapter and then it will give you a title screen for the next name of the chapter, and then there'll be like a cutscene, and then you'll play through the next part of the game, if that makes sense. So it's kind of funnels you through, but it's in an open world setting, and I just think it's a really cool way of doing that sort of game. And I just love it, set in like the 30s, 40s or whatever. Proper high mafia stuff, the drama going on, really good voice acting, really good facial animations. You really feel the characters, really good conversations as you're just doing your thing throughout the game. And it's just crazy good fun. It's such a good game, man. It's, as I say, it's on Game Pass. So if you've got Game Pass, certainly do not let this skip you by. It's a great single player experience. And I know I'm a few years too late. I'm sounding like Nick here playing old games, but fucking did a great job with this. It's so much fun, and I'm really loving it. So, just wanted to give that a big shout out.
Yeah, like I've always said, I've always thought the Mafia games were like one of the best of the sort of open worldy kind of sandbox games. Yeah. Just because the characters and the story and that is just like quite interesting.
Yeah.
It was almost like a fresh take on a GTA style.
Yes.
Putting it in that era. I haven't downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet.
I mean, it's not fully gung-ho either.
No, it's not. No.
There's missions in the game that are quite quiet, like you're walking your love interest home and then a couple of guys down an alleyway say something and you end up having a fist fight kind of thing with them. And it's just all those kind of things that help build the relationship with the different characters.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And everything that I actually really like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really stoked that they're doing another one.
Yeah.
Because 3 didn't particularly hit for me. I think it's the weakest of the trilogy so far.
Yeah, but no, the first. I mean, this is obviously a remake of the first one, and so they did a fantastic job with it, man.
Yeah, because they all do tie in, don't they? All the games, because I think the character from the first one carries across all 3. Is it, or is it just the second and the third?
I can't remember, mate. To be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, pity they never did a sort of like a Series X or a PS5 upgrade for it, so it is stuck at, unfortunately, 30 FPS on the console.
It's weird, though, because I've downloaded it on the PC Game Pass, and usually the games the save goes over to the console, so I downloaded it on the console, but it's a separate game on the console with separate achievements as well.
Yeah, it would make sense because obviously you've got the Steam achievements, haven't you? Or is it just separate for the PC version on Game Pass as well?
Yeah, separate, yeah. It's weird. Yeah. So, which is quite unusual.
I think a lot of it's been happening because I actually was looking up the other day. What's happened to all this Play Anywhere?
I mean, a lot of games have it. Most games do have it, but some don't, and it's a little bit annoying. Like, for the rare use cases like myself, where I like to play the same games on Xbox and PC, and it's nice to be able to carry on. You know what I mean? But
especially when they're Game Pass games.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because obviously the first Descendant, and you started that on Xbox and then went over to PC, or did you do the opposite?
I did the opposite. I got it to work in the end, but yeah. Cool. And the last game I wanted to talk about, which I think is fucking amazing, Delta Force Hawk Ops. Oh, I'm loving it. It is so good. And I really hope this comes to console, because my main man, Clarky, who's a huge Battlefield fan, would be all over this. So I know the big selling point of this is it's meant to be like Tarkov, right? So you got the one mode, which is the Tarkov type mode. And yes, I played that mode this week, and it is, I think it's great, right? I actually much prefer it to Tarkov because it's hard. There's lots of enemies. You get killed easy, but you can actually see the extract points on the fucking map, and you have a map and you can see where you are, and it tells you where your objectives are and shit like that. I like that, right? However, there's not just that Tarkov type mode. There is Battlefield type modes in this. So you've got like the Conquest Battlefield mode, the Rush mode, and there's a few other modes that they've added recently. I've not played though, which I need to check out. But I've actually played more of the Conquest and rush modes than the actual Tarkov type mode on this. Just because I love Battlefield, right? And obviously Battlefield 2042, obviously it's decent now, but was a disappointment when it came out, right? Whereas this is an alpha, closed alpha. These maps are huge for the Battlefield type modes. There's two maps at the minute which they've been showing off. They're huge, but it runs really smooth, and it is just like it is pretty much a carbon copy of Battlefield, but runs better. So you've got all your vehicles, tanks, helicopters, planes, ATVs. You're in a squad. You can spawn on your squad. You're capturing the points. Big maps, taking people out, pinging your enemies. You got your classes, right? Your assault class, your medic class, your engineer class, your sniper class, etc. All exactly the same as Battlefield. It's pretty much just copied it. But what I like about it is, even though it's in an alpha, it runs so well and it looks gorgeous. Like, this runs way better than what Battlefield 24 did when it actually fully came out. And this game, as I say, is in early closed testing. I think the full release is next year. This is how early this build is. And it is, I love this game. It is so good. The only thing I'm quite unsure about on the full release is, obviously, I believe that the Tarkov mode and this multiplayer type mode is going to be free to play, but they're actually building a campaign as well, and that looks cool. But I think that's to purchase, as peeps would say. Now, what I would like to know, because I haven't really looked, but I'm just thinking out loud here, is with these modes being free to play, how are they going to make their money? And that's something that I just really would like to know, because the Tarkov type mode, I don't feel like you need to spend any money on, because the stuff's there and you can, equip your dude and all that sort of bollocks, right? Because it's like Tarkov, right? If your dude dies, you lose all your shit. So then you got to go in the marketplace and game marketplace, buy a new gun and bullets and shit like that. But I've always had enough in-game currency to do that. Now, will that be the same in the full game? I don't know. So it's just interesting. I just don't know how they're going to do it, because obviously we've got that Arena Breakout game, which has been poo-pooed for really trying to push that pay to win stuff. And I've obviously talked about that in the past. I think it's fun. But as soon as I got into this Delta Force Alpha, I just thought to myself, why would I play Arena Breakout? Because this is just such a better full experience. So, I think if you're a Battlefield fan, like if you're a fan of the older Battlefield games like Battlefield 4, 3, like, you're going to love the Conquest and Rush game modes on this, because it is a carbon copy, but it just runs well. If you're a fan of like the Tarkov type games, but you want it a little bit easier with the map and stuff, you'll really enjoy that mode as well, because I think it's fun. Jump in with some friends, go on the big map and do your extracts and all that bollocks, right? You fight the AI and you fight the players. So you got those two options there, right? But it's got like has got that free to play software. It's got your dailies and your weeklies, and you can see there's going to be a battle pass and all that stuff, right? But yeah, I think if you want that hardcore stuff, the Tarkov mode would be for you, because it's a bit like, like when me and Frosty were talking about Hunt Showdown, and it's kind of that perma-death. It's not death, but it's, you lose your stuff, right? Then you got to equip your dude with all the gear again, right? And then you get missions to get in the map and extract some certain shit to complete a mission to get your XP, and then you get more missions, etc., etc. But then if you don't want that kind of full-on stressful kind of mode, you got these Battlefield type modes, and it's just so much fun, man. I've had a smile on my face just playing this game, like, non-stop, man. It's so good. So I'm really excited for this to come out next year. I really don't know if it's going to come to console, but I think it would fit really well on console, because those game modes would suit this community really well. So watch this space, but so far so good on PC. Loving it. So much fun. It's really good to see a game in an early access build just looking and running so good, and I'm having so much fun. So watch out for Delta Force when it releases next year. I don't think you'll be disappointed with it if you like your first-person shooters. And that's all the games talked about. Wow, that's taken a while. We've played a lot the last few weeks. So let's get into the news then. It's been quite a busy news week, guys. Some of it's been positives, most of it's been negative. Most of it I've been laughing at because I told you so. I think we talked a little bit about Concord last week, so let's start off with Concord. Yeah, so it's not just been me trolling. I've just been laughing. Now, there's been a little bit more information come out about the sales numbers for Concord. So the player stats for the last week.
Sales numbers,
yeah, the rumoured sales numbers. Thanks for correcting me there, Darren. Anyway, the player count on Steam this week has been less than 100 people, which is fucking diabolical. And reportedly, the game is projected to lose Sony over $200 million. Ouch. But this game's become a bit of a meme, hasn't it? Because on social media, all I'm seeing is people just laughing at it for various reasons. But that's just fucked up. A brand new game's come out. It's got less than 100 players on Steam now, and it's taking people about half an hour to get into a fucking game. Lols. And it's rumoured in total on PlayStation and PC to have sold only 25,000 copies. Now, that is a rumour, but if that is true, ouch.
Yeah, that's not good. That's kind of like indie game numbers, really.
That's even worse than Redfall's numbers, man. That is embarrassing. So I just wanted to say, ha for the last time. Told you so, but there we go. Other news that people might be lolling at. I certainly lolled this week. Another WoCast game came out last week called Dustborn, and it actually got funding from the European Union. Pile of shit DEI bollocks. Launched with less than 100 players, and this is a single-player game as well. That should tell you everything you need to know. Lols. So
the modern audience.
Yes, I think that audience that you think is popular on Twitter is not actually your core audience, and I think developers are learning this the hard way.
It seems strange because, like, whenever I was seeing clips from it, I was trying to work out, is this supposed to be serious or is this a parody? Because it almost seems more like a parody than it's trying to be serious.
It's even got talking like about, it even has safe spaces and all that bollocks in it. You know what I mean? I'm just, oh my God, who is this made for? Yes.
I mean, if it is a parody, then go with it. You probably get more people sort of interested rather than people being like, oh, what is this?
Yeah. So just wanted to give a big shout out to that pile of wank game. Big release this week, though. Star Wars Outlaws by Ubisoft has come out. We've got a few things.
How the tables have turned.
Yes, so we do need to discuss this.
You never used to call them Ubisoft.
I fucking have to now, mate. I mean, fucking hell, they haven't made a good game in years. I don't want to be too harsh on this, but I'm going to have to be, right? So the game launched in early access last week. So if you paid 120 quid for the Super Uber Gold Edition, you got access like 4 days early or something. If you had this on the PS5, I feel sorry for you. You paid £120 for the game, and then they did a day one patch, and it deleted your save. Lols.
I did hear something about like a thing of possibly having to start the game again from the beginning.
Yep. So,
but I thought that was just something that the devs put out just to cover themselves, because there's been plenty of games that have done that in the past.
Yeah.
where I've generally been all right, where it's like, oh yeah, we've updated stuff. We recommend you start again. You can still use your save, but you might run into issues.
Okay. Well, I've seen lots of reports of people losing their saves, so I'm going to put out a big lol for that. The other big lol is obviously it's
Don't
Ubisoft.
laugh at people losing their time. Like, it's not fun. Like that's shit you can't get back. Time.
This day and age, people need to be more switched on to Ubi Shy and their glitchy messes of games. So this is just me, right? I've seen a lot of videos and pictures online of the epic glitches in this game, falling through the world, your character just standing there and the enemy's just ignoring you, all sorts of weird shit, right? Which is a shame because the actual graphics of the game look really good. To be fair, it looks gorgeous on that Snowdrop engine, and it is a good-looking game, right?
Except for the main character.
Is this actually made by the Division 2 and stuff people?
I think
because I heard they went off to work on one. I think it might be them because that's their engine. It's the Division engine.
I think it could be. I'm not going to say 100% it is because I don't know. I did see something on the Twattersphere that it was, but I'm not going to say 100% that is correct because I have not done the research. Yeah,
massive entertainment, isn't it? Or massive games. Yeah, Division. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So. Yeah, and there's other weird things about the game. Like you look at the picture of the actual actress, who's quite a pretty lady, and then you look at what they've done to her face in the actual game, and you're like, "You've uglified her by times 100. Why have you done this? I don't get it." Yeah, so I don't know. I've not played the game, so I'm not going to say, "Oh, it's uber shit" or anything like that because that's not a fair judgment, right? However, from the videos and the reviews I've seen and read, etc., this does not look like a positive experience to be had, unfortunately.
I nearly bought it.
See, you could do the old sign up to Uplay Plus for a month, bang it out, and then cancel your sub. That's like 15 quid or whatever.
All I would have wanted is Wildlands in a Star Wars universe. I'd have been happy with that.
But it's in space. There is no wild lands to have. It's space and sand from what I've seen. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, if you're a massive Star Wars fan, I guess you'd probably enjoy it. I don't know, but I would wait for some epic bug fixes. And you know what Ubisoft are like, right? Within 6 months, it'll be half price, and then it'll probably be on Game Pass in a year anyway. So maybe wait. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. And from what I've seen as well, it's not sold as well as they hoped. So the initial predictions from Ubisoft to their shareholders was that it was going to sell 8 million copies, but they're now predicting a sale of 5 million copies. Which is quite a few million less. However,
that's still reasonably good. I remember when one Square Enix disappointed with the sales numbers for one of the Tomb Raider games when it came out, where they was expecting something ridiculous, and you're just like, all right. And when you find out that sort of obviously the Resident Evil games and things like that, they sell a lot of copies, but they don't sell millions and millions. They just sell a few million, basically, and that's a success.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading this thinking
still a success, but it depends. Obviously, the inflated projections to the shareholders from obviously corporations when it comes to putting out a product.
I mean, I was looking at those numbers thinking 5 million is still a lot of copies as well. I was thinking, yeah, that's right. I mean, anything with Star Wars on is going to sell, right? But I think they've got big dev teams. They want to make more money. Going down by 3 million, that's a lot to go down. But further on in this article was quite interesting as well, not about Star Wars, but about Assassin's Creed Shadows that's out in November, if I'm correct. That needs to sell 13.5 million copies to make up for the losses of the sales from Star Wars, to make a good profit. I don't think it's going to sell that much.
It'll still sell well off the Assassin's Creed name. There's still going to be people that will pick it up.
Yeah. But yeah,
so
I mean,
that's an interesting one. That's something I wouldn't like to guess on whether it'll be a success or not.
No, and I've said this 100 times. You know, it saddens me to see where Ubisoft are now, because they used to be the best dev and pub publisher, in my opinion, and they've just gone so downhill, man. It is fucking does my head in.
A lot of it, I think, just comes down to, across most industries, of just like super inflated budgets.
Yeah. Yeah, but and also
which
releasing
means you can't produce as much. Yeah, you can't produce as much, and if you screw up, it's like a major screw up.
Yeah.
And you haven't got like a shed load of games to fall back on. I mean, you look at all of these publishers, Ubisoft, EA, and whatnot. They'd release like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe more games a year.
Yeah.
Like different genres, different types of game. If one didn't do particularly well, they'd always have another one there, or a surefire to back it up, like FIFA or whatnot.
Yeah.
And now they're just kind of just relying on those single franchises still, and chucking out the odd one here and there. And obviously, the more those here and there start screwing up, the less likely people are in the future to try and go off the beaten a little bit.
Yeah.
And take a few risks.
100%. So, I mean, I would have loved to see this game be good. You know, I don't want to see games fail, but fuck me. I've been looking at this since about a year ago thinking, I don't know, man. And, you know, from what I've seen on this release, it's just a shame. I mean, bug fixes like this can be fixed, of course. Graphics can be fixed in updates as well. But at the minute, it's not a game that I would buy looking at what I've seen in videos and reviews, etc. Okay, so Valve. I could talk about Valve again. There's been some rumours online this week regarding Half-Life 3. I know we hear these rumours from year to year. It's been about 20 years since the last Half-Life game came out. I feel so old right now. Half-Life 3 allegedly exists, and it is apparently in a semi-open world.
The original ones kind of were anyway, weren't they? You were given free form to go about the levels, and some of the maps were quite open, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like the ones when you got in the buggy thing and drove around.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more too, I think, from memory. Yeah. So that's quite interesting. Next bit of news that piqued my interest, because obviously I talked about Visions of Mana earlier. Made by a company called NetEase. Apparently, the day the game launched, they made all the dev team redundant, or told the dev team that they were going to make them redundant. I mean, this is what I've just been seeing plastered all over the interwebs, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, I mean, I saw that mentioned, but it was just kind of like I couldn't find any official confirmation.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But if so, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, shit, mate. It's fucking shit. Oh, yeah, the game's out now. We don't need you anymore, guys. Bye. You know what I mean? Oh, dear. Okay, the big news that's been going around the internet this week. Rumours, big rumours. And I'm kind of thinking that some of these rumours could be true, but take them with a pinch of salt. PS5 Pro details have supposedly been leaked online. A reliable PlayStation leaker called Bill Coon, who has done previous leaks and they've been 100% correct, has said that the final name of the mid-gen refresh is the PS5 Pro. And that the design has 3 black stripes in the middle, so good for Peeps because he's a big Adidas fanboy, so it looks like an Adidas machine.
Aren't they just vents? Like they're disguised vents?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. They look quite good. I mean, if they've got LEDs in, that'd be super cool, right? However, the things I was lolling about is that there's going to be two versions, a disc edition and a digital edition, much like the current PlayStation 5.
Oh, I thought it was going to be done like the current PlayStation 5. You buy the units that are exactly the same, but you bolt an extra disk drive onto the...
Yeah. So that was one rumor
one.
I saw. However, there was another one where they're actually going to sell a disc edition. But you can remove the discs. So it's basically like, it's all one edition, but it comes with the disc thing. Yeah? It's like a USB.
I mean, that's good. Like I've always said, those removable disk drives, I don't think are too much of a bad idea. Because if anything happens to your disk drive, you can just replace it.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
It's not like you have to get rid of the whole system.
Yeah, yeah. So the rumored price is, and this might scare you, I don't know. The disc edition, $700. The digital edition, $600.
Crazy.
And knowing that they always price them the same in pounds as dollars, that would be £700 or £600, and that to me is a lot of wonga. So this is the rumor.
You get 2 terabytes.
So this is part of the rumor. So I'm going to be looking out next week. The announcement for this is going to be on the 9th of September, apparently. So keep your eyes and ears peeled on the 9th of September. And the rumored release date for this is going to be the 6th of December.
That's actually a bit later than I thought. Usually it's the end of November. Yeah. It's usually to coincide with like your CODs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it says here the disk drive can be removed and attached to both the digital and disc version. The SSD is still 1 terabyte. Like, looking at this, I mean, if I didn't have a PC, I'd still be looking at this thinking, why do I need this? Because I felt like last gen, I got a bit burnt with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox Series, the Xbox One X. And
I actually thought they were great consoles in the fact that it was basically kind of doing old school thing of like, oh yeah, you played this in 1080p, now we're going to show you what upscaled looks like, or 4K, etc. And you're kind of like, that's so much sharper, like unbelievably so.
Yeah, but what difference is this going to make? Yeah.
It won't now because obviously we've already done that 4K thing. So again, we're used to the 4K.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's literally this whole thing, this whole system has to be about performance and frame rate.
Yeah.
Because the 4K stuff's already there.
I mean, if it doesn't do 4K 60, which I don't think it will, because even like a fucking top-end PC struggles to do that, then people are going to be complaining. And what else can they do?
Most of their games, technically anyway, their first-party games do run in like a version of 4K at 60.
Yeah, they have that upscaling technology, that AMD stuff, don't they? Yeah.
Because the rumours all started early last week from the fact that it was like, oh, Death Stranding's 2's going to be at the Tokyo Game Show, which is coming up. It's the next game show.
Yeah.
And rumours is it will be running on the PS4 Pro.
PS5
or PS5 Pro. Yeah, sorry. And then it was like a couple of days before the leak, or maybe even a few hours before the leaks were all sort of going on, there was like a picture of Kojima posing in front of a build of the game.
Yeah.
Like playing it with the controller. And obviously where the system is, there's like something covering it. Like a sheet over the top of it, or like a bar towel kind of thing. And everyone was like, that's probably it. He's covering it up to make sure. But then would it even look the same as the actual retail unit? Because usually those dev kit units look completely different.
Yeah, they
like
they
that
do,
PS5 dev kit looks quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean all dev kits look
one of the weirder
crazy,
ones,
don't they? You know what I mean? But no, I mean I personally don't see what I mean, because there's no info, is there, like what improvements this has? I mean, they couldn't even be asked to put a 2 terabyte disk in there, disk drive in.
No, I think the 2 terabyte SSD is what's supposed to be shipping with the Pro.
Well, the rumors I've seen is 1 terabyte. So, as I say, this is all conjecture, right? But this is what I've seen. If it does come with 2, awesome. That's another reason for people, right? But you are right, Darren. Like, graphically, they can't really do anything different. It would all be about performance. So, like, what would that?
Yeah, that's literally it. Just performance.
Would it be worth you upgrading that extra money? You know, and that's the thing, right? I just find this whole pro thing during console generations a bit weird now. Like,
it's technically, I can understand it from a console point of view, but you've done this before yourself.
I know.
With graphics cards for PCs. That's exactly what it is. It's like buying a new graphics card. So I can see people doing it. There will be people that will be interested in it. I mean, I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
Just specifically from the fact of like the classic thing. This may or may not be like the last generation of consoles that I'll be interested in.
Yeah.
And I'll get the best version of it.
Yeah.
If I can. Yeah. Sort of a thing. Just to hopefully see if hopefully now we don't have to have that fucking choose your options thing. It'll just be bang on the best one. How it'll handle the extra power and obviously the cooling of the system will be interesting as well.
Yeah. For sure.
Because that seems to be the biggest issue with a lot of things nowadays. That's one of the reasons why PC cases are quite hench. And obviously have all their stuff like spaced out quite a lot, and getting the airflow around it so it's not all too close together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I think for a lot of people, if you've got a PS5, I don't know if I would want to do it. But if I didn't have a PS5, then that would be the one I get, right? Because if I don't have a system, I'd want the best one. However, what worries me from an Xbox gamer perspective is, will Microsoft decide to bring out an Xbox Series X Pro? Because one of the selling points for the Series X is it's the most powerful console. Wow. You know what I mean? And they'll look at this thinking, shall we do the same? And then if they did, it would get really confusing because you'd have the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, the Xbox. So you got, so you've already got the Xbox Series X.
Xbox Series X.
Yeah, you've already got 2 versions of the Series S, and then you've got 2 versions of the Series X out now as well. Then you'd have a Series X Pro, and you'd be like, fucking hell, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? I really hope they don't do that.
I don't think they're going to. I think they've dropped hints that they weren't looking into doing that.
Yeah, I hope they don't.
But then take everything or verbatim or whatever. I've got a feeling Microsoft will go down the route of. They talked about it for ages, but basically using the internet per se to give your system extra power.
Yeah, cloud computing. Yeah.
So doing it sort of like to enhance things via connecting to a cloud version of the game that has it all there and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's the way I would see Microsoft maybe attempting to do it. Because I don't think they're doing particularly brilliantly on consoles at the moment, although in Japan they've had a big boost because of Sony's weird move of, for some reason, increasing the price of the PS5.
Yeah, how much have they increased it by out there?
I don't know. Some people are saying it's a reasonable amount. So I'm guessing probably... Quid? Yeah, that's what I'd say. Yeah, that's when people say by a reasonable amount, it's usually that £50 knock-up or so. But maybe they've done it on purpose to then when they announce the Pro version, people are going to be like, ooh, actually, like now the price difference between the Pro and the thingy one doesn't look as horrendously different.
Oh, I've just had a look online. Do you know how much it's gone up by?
No.
$90 or €80. So that's
wow,
that's
a fair bit.
Yeah, that's a fair lot. Bit. So the PS5 is roughly £500 equivalent for the disc model.
Yeah, so they could launch it at 700 and maybe chuck in a 2 tera. That would actually make things kind of interesting because you'd think to yourself, like, well, a couple of terabytes is like usually £100 or so as well. Plus, for an extra £100, I'm getting a bit of boost on this, that, and the other thing. So maybe it is a sly tactic. But it seems weird to do that. Like, I could understand if that price hike was going to start kicking in around the world, but to just solely do it in Japan is a strange one.
I find that odd because usually, like this, we're a good few years into the console lifespan now, and usually as the cycle goes on, those console prices go down because the components get cheaper. But
they find an easier and quicker and cheaper way of producing units, like the slim versions of systems, etc.
That's ridiculous.
Xbox are bringing out their Galaxy edition, aren't they, with the 2 terabyte?
Yeah. Again, another version of fucking Xbox.
550 quid.
Yeah, but it has increased the sales of Xboxes in Japan, which is hilarious. So, I just find it strange. Perhaps Sony is struggling a little bit. I did see some rumours that because Concord sold so bad, they're raising the prices of the PlayStations to try and make up for that, but I don't believe
Why would they make this sort of like weird fuck up? I don't understand the fuck up they made with Concord.
I don't get it either, mate.
How long ago did they see this game?
I mean, this game's been rumoured to be in development for 6 or 7 years.
I mean, hell, it must have been that long because they've literally gone for like the Overwatch type of game. Literally back when people used to charge for the Overwatch type of game before they all went free to play mainly.
Yeah.
So must have gone, we'll make one of those. It's like the ultimate like Cliffy B's Lawbreakers situation.
Oh, yeah.
Of just like the complete worst time to put something out.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, mate, but it's just fucking. I hope they learn a lesson from this. That's all I can say,
Also, you've got to think how many more. I will say how much the free-to-play market for games has actually damaged sales for like actual games that are being sold.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of games out there that are free-to-play now in all different types.
I mean, you say that, but like Black Myth Wukong has sold gangbusters, isn't it? That's
oh yes, you will always get those standouts, your Elden Rings and things like that do specifically well because there's something that a player base has been looking forward to for years.
Yeah.
And this has definitely been, I'd probably say, one of the most hyped games for the last 3 or 4 years, just solely on those trailers that it used to put out.
Yeah.
And those little sneak peeks. It helps, like, with the anticipation for something. And to be honest, there was information out there, but I still found it, like, reasonably dark until the game came out.
Yeah. There's been
so
no
it wasn't one of those things that was like, not really on the TV and stuff. No, I see them advertising on X quite a lot. Like, underneath most things, where you, like, have someone talking about Concord, and underneath it's like, Black Wukong out now.
I'll tell you what, I did see, like, Sony will do adverts for games that they think will do well, though, because I was in Milton Keynes today in the shopping centre, and they had fucking massive adverts for that new Astrobot game that's coming out next week. Everywhere, billboards everywhere, man. But I won't do it for fucking Concord.
They're chasing their next mascot, I suppose, after Sackboy drowned somewhere.
Yeah, well, Astrobot, I mean, I'll probably end up getting that, to be fair, because my boy
What are Media Molecule doing these days?
I've no idea.
Because obviously they did that Dreams thing, wasn't it? That was the last thing they did, and that was kind of seemed like it had a pretty passionate fan base and community that used to make stuff in it. But I don't think it was like a fantastic success.
I don't know, mate, to be honest. Let's have a look.
Those Little Big Planet games were pretty popular for quite some time. I mean, they even went and did the kart racer, didn't they?
They must have shut down or something, because there's nothing since 2020 with Dreams. I don't know.
Blue Point has been awfully quiet for a long time. Do we know what they're working on next? I know that's always a hopeful vision, isn't it? Because obviously the last thing they did was the Demon's Souls remake, and that was a while back now.
Yeah. No, there's nothing on here either. on Demon Souls was last thing. God of War Ragnarok support was last thing on there. I do have a couple of questions from the Discord that I just want to read out because I missed them last week because we ran out of time. That's okay.
Yeah.
There was only a couple. I think Frosty did one of them as well, actually. Yeah, Turner was moaning that none of us have played Black Myth Wukong, and I replied...
Yeah, I was going to say, one of the biggest games and none of us have played it. It's not my fault, they just didn't do a physical copy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd definitely been playing it.
I just didn't want to pay 70 quid for a PC or / PlayStation game, because if I was going to get it on PlayStation and buy it physical, PC, I'd want it at a reasonable price, and I couldn't find it at a good price. So, yeah. So I actually put a reply in there saying, I said, I have no money. Darren only buys physical. Nick only plays old games. And Graham, I think, might pick it up in the future. So, yeah. Tag asks, has anyone played Concord? Stop trolling me, Tag.
You have, technically.
Well, yeah, I played the beta. And it was fucking awful, but there we go. Wes did ask us last week what a highlight from Gamescom was. I don't think we mentioned what a highlight was, Darren. Can you remember that far back?
I can't remember Gamescom.
I'm going to say Indiana Jones for me.
Yeah, there was a few things there I like the look of, but I'm sure I talked about, but I can't recall anything completely off the top of my head.
You know what I have seen since then, though, Darren? There was a video at Gamescom, but it's only just gone onto YouTube, I think, this week. A gameplay video, like 8 minutes of Expedition 33.
All right.
Oh my god, I want this game.
Oh yes, I remember you posting that up. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, you gotta watch it, man. OMG, so good. Turn-based combat just gets me hard, baby. Gotta play those games. Frosty, you asked a question last week, so you can probably answer your own question as well. Frosty asked, what was the last game release that you truly got excited for? I'm struggling to think of one. Maybe Elite Dangerous was my last hyped release.
The last game that I actually really got excited to play.
Yes.
Oh, well, not to play. Yeah, one that you're really looking forward to coming out.
Yeah. I was looking forward to it for years. Yeah, and then I played it on launch and was like,
What game was that?
Dragon's Dogma 2 was probably the last one for me for
that. Yeah. The first game was so good, and then the second one was just meh.
I am kind of getting excited for Space Marine 2.
Yes,
I've got a little bit of underhype for that,
Yeah, it's going to be good, baby.
I have actually today just downloaded the original one again to have a little playthrough.
I am excited for a few games. Obviously, Visions of Mana I really want to play. However, games that I have that I'm looking forward to, and I'm definitely getting day one. Obviously, Black Ops, great. What was the other one? The Casting of Frank Stone. And the last one I got excited for this year and was amazing was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And another game I'm really looking forward to, and everyone's going to laugh at me, but I don't give a fuck. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is out next week. I couldn't be more excited for this game.
You're going to be so depressed.
Yeah, I've kind of already sort of like, I'm already holding completely back on this until I know what's actually going on with it.
Wow.
Because it should be an absolute slam dunk, but then the early warning signs were there with like the always online and stuff, and it's like, I just generally don't want like a good test drive game to actually just disappear.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. So there is a roadmap that they've released. I've been watching a lot of videos on this, and this is what I'm excited for. So, at launch, obviously, they're bringing out shit 12th September. However, they've been working hard on this behind the scenes, I believe. I believe them. I believe these people. They are adding Ibiza as a free update on the 24th of December. Happy Christmas, everybody. Come on.
That is cool.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this because I've been playing Test Drive Unlimited 2 recently, and Ibiza is one of those iconic areas from the original game. So I'm awesome. And then on the 25th of June, they are adding the casino, which Darren spent a lot more time in the casino than me on TDU2, but I'm excited for the casino.
I wonder if the reason for this is they kind of wanted to get content out there and get the game out there, and then a little while later they're like, right, slap out the content that's considered gambling in certain countries and will be banned. But the game will already have been out for about 6 months by that point, so we'll have made some good cash.
Yeah. Now, I know this... Go on, Frosty.
My fear is this, even on CD keys now, is 22 quid.
Yep. And that's where I've pre-ordered it. Now, I am going to preface this by saying this is a niche game, not everyone's cup of tea, right? However, I really enjoyed the beta I played, even though it was a little bit jank. But they're talking about, for release, fixing the steering wheels, because one of my problems with the game, because I tried it with my steering wheel and it felt like arse, but they're talking about fixing all the steering wheel support, which is great. They're talking about sorting out some of the bugs and that. Long term, further down the line than what they've said, they've also talked about adding bikes, because they have done bike games in the past, and finally adding the real estate option so you can buy houses and shit, which we all loved in the original games. So...
and selling them to you for real money.
Well, probably. So I know it sounds like, it's still early and all that, but I don't care. I love the original games. I've got a little bit of faith in me. I've dropped 20... Well, when I pre-ordered it, I think it was like 21 quid or whatever. I've taken a gamble, right? Now, if I was getting on... Now, if I was going to be... If I only had a console and I was having to pay the 50, 60 quid, I would be more on the fence. 100%. I'm going to put that out there and say that. But 20 quid, yeah, fuck it. Now, Dougster's put something in Twitch saying steering wheel should be standard. Dougster, have you tried to play Forza Motorsport with a steering wheel? Because that is a fucking huge game made by one of the biggest companies in the world, Microsoft. That game feels like dog shit with a steering wheel. It's probably one of the worst fucking games I've ever played with a wheel. So if Microsoft can't get it right, I'm not going to fucking poo-poo a indie team for not getting it right at launch, because, they're a small team. They, I've watched a lot of videos on these guys. They're a small team, but they seem very dedicated to pushing out a fun game, right? And that's what I like. They've got passion, and that's what I like. They're not just some corporate stooges that you see with Microsoft or these other big companies like Ubisoft or EA. They're a small indie team, and they've got that passion there, and that just speaks volumes to me. So, yeah.
To be fair, Webby, I do hope this does well.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I've played Test Drive since back in the day when Test Drive was on the Amiga, made by Accolade.
Yeah.
I've loved all the Test Drive Unlimited, and to be honest with you, this will sound crazy coming from me, being a sim racer and things, having a full rig, but I am not interested in using a wheel on this game anyway.
Yeah.
This is an arcadey, chill out controller style game, but I just don't think it's going to be good.
It's a style game. It is literally live the lifestyle, drive around the gorgeous countryside, listening to random music stations or driving a luxury car.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I preferred Test Drive to the Forza Horizon series. But I just can't see this being any good.
Now, I do have my worries. Of course I do. However, playing the beta demo, whatever you want to call it, and that island that they've got in it, right? It's big. it's awesome, and it was fun. Like, had lots of varied areas, and I could see myself just chilling out, just exploring the streets and all that jazz.
Oh, that was the other thing. Actually, I did see someone mention about this game when it came out in beta.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, oh, my favourite. You have to create an account.
All right.
And then log into your account to actually log in to play the game.
That's just like the old for a lot of games. It's just like
it's shit.
First Descendant, mate. I had to make an account for the first Descendant. You know?
I don't remember making one for that.
Yeah, I had to, yeah.
Like for the gift stuff, but
yeah,
it's shit. I don't like it. Just connect me online and off I go. Why do I need to do all this bullshit? Which just acts as another barrier between your access at some point further down the line when it doesn't recognise this or you've changed to another system or whatnot.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to tell people to go out and get this. I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to be amazing or anything, because I do have my reservations, but it's a game I'm really excited for. So
I'll wait for you to stream it for a while first.
Oh, I don't think my PC could handle playing this and streaming it. Fucking struggled just playing the game. I think that was all the... Let me just check. I think that might have been all the questions, actually. Oh, no. Gavlar sent a question. If you could pitch any game, what would your game be like, and what dev team would you want to make it? Can I say an awesome RPG made by Squaresoft, not Square Enix? Go back in time and get Squaresoft to make me a great RPG like the good old days.
I don't know. I think one of my ultimate games that we always joked about making at work and stuff, when you're sitting there just chatting nonsense to your colleagues and stuff, would have been like a survival game, like zombie outbreak kind of thing, but not super overpopulated. But you choose your character and obviously different abilities for each job sort of style you have.
Okay.
And you can go anywhere. Like, none of this bullshit. Oh, that building's blocked off. It's like, no, if you got a crowbar, wrench the bars off, in you go. You know what I mean? Like, you fortify it, do what you want with it, try and survive. Like, if you're a thief, you can hotwire cars and all that kind of sort of stuff. And it looks obviously absolutely amazing. I wouldn't trust anyone to develop it at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be sort of like the dream game that I'd envision. You got to sort of try and get out, meet up with other players and stuff. Just have it be like really in depth and really involving, with like really good atmosphere, and off you go.
Yeah.
Massive city as well.
Nice.
I would like Rockstar to get the Alien license and do an open world Alien style game.
That might take them the next 20 years to make. Yeah. I want Grand Theft Auto 6 first, mate. Oh dear.
How the god is that? How is that going to be?
Fucking hell. Who knows? Yeah, man.
How long's that game been in development for? I think that's like, what's it? Something like 10 years in development, possibly $2 billion budget or something fucking ridiculous, wasn't it?
Well, they're making enough money from shark cards, aren't they? So, not short a few quid. Nice. Okay.
Obviously, that sounds like the type of ambitious game where it's like, yeah, I kind of guess what you're probably trying to do, but is the hardware there yet for it?
Yeah.
Like Test Drive in a way, like we've always said, like it was highly ambitious. It was just didn't have everything there that we kind of have now that you could just do.
Yeah.
But then there was some stuff we had back then that they can't do now.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I played a racing car game where I can just sit in the car and roll down the windows. So it's just simple, you know what I mean?
You could never hear the music coming out of other players' cars, though, could you?
No. But
and do you remember the full annoyance of like, well, it's saying you're here on the map. You're not here. I can't see you. And it's like, keep bringing your map up, and every time you close it, you connect to a different server. Yeah. Keep doing that until you come to the server that I'm on, and then you'd be like, oh, sweet, I'm in the game.
We had some epic
And
cruises
then you
on
block.
that, man.
Where are we going now? Oh, let me just check the map. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, well, yeah. So we had some good cruises on that. You know, going to the beach and races and shit. It was fucking epic.
Well, you had those like photo ops, didn't you, and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. And you know, it's a shame to say that Forza Horizons have been fun, but they've just not been on that epic scale of the test drive games for me. You know,
it's weird because the test drive games did the whole sort of like meeting up with loads of people and just going on burnouts like from coast to coast.
Yeah.
Before those game modes were even added to stuff like I believe like Burnout Paradise, etc.
Yeah.
Where you'd have that team play sort of like type of game mode where you go from location to location. Yeah. Test Drive was doing that before it was even a game mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously you had the whole thing of like someone breaking the law and it's like you can take over as a copper and try and chase them down.
Yeah. Oh, good times. Dunkster said that he would like a new Dungeon Siege or a new Burnout Paradise. Well, those aren't new things, man. But yeah, Burnouts are good.
Burnout Paradise is still absolutely bizarre to me because as far as I'm aware, that has to be the most successful Burnout game that's ever come out.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just everywhere and on everything, and they've never made one since.
I know, me and Peebs spent fucking hundreds of hours on that, doing everything, maxing out the Chivos. That was a good time.
So, yeah, that game's well over 10 years old.
Oh, easy.
That was back when you could use the camera to put your face on the driving license as well.
Yeah, I was always
stick your fingers up.
Yeah. Someone pulling a Mooney or something like that in the vision camera.
And when you smashed into them and made them crash, it would take a screenshot of their face.
Yeah. Oh, so good. See, that's when gaming was more social on the 360 than any other system since. You know what I mean? That was so good. Oh man!
And you had like restricted parties that could only have 8 people, and
yeah.
I actually did play Burnout Paradise not so long ago, actually, on the remastered version.
Yeah.
And it does feel kind of dead without all of that added into it.
Yeah.
Oh, I played round my friend's house. He bought it because obviously it came out on PlayStation recently. I'm sure Graham talked about it the other week, like Time Splitters.
Well, the original.
Yep. Time Splitters 2. He bought like the collection. They've got all of them out on because he signed up to like a certain tier of PS Plus. Like he just bumped it up a tier and he gets access to it. Yep. So he was like, "Oh, Time Splitters, I remember this. Let's check it out."
Oh God!
And he stuck it on, and I was like, "Oh shit! Like, what did I used to put up with back in the day?"
Yeah, I remember like Time Splitters. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
The aiming and stuff on that game is something different. Like it's like almost fighting you constantly.
I think like Time Splitters 2 was the game I got on launch with my PS2.
It's a good game for the time, but we've definitely moved on that further than that now when it comes to shooters and like how to aim and shoot and stuff like.
But it's weird because when I look back at those games, like when I played them, like I have such rose-tinted glasses when I think of those games. Oh yeah, that was so fucking amazing playing that then, and then. If I play it now, I'd think, "Oh my god, dog shit." You know.
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's still fun. It just takes getting used to because when you go right, shoot, you basically fix in one position and then you're moving the cursor about.
Yeah.
To obviously shoot, which is just kind of weird. It's almost like you move about and then turn it into like a shooting gallery.
Yeah.
Kind of thing before moving on. But yeah, you used to unlock loads of different characters in that, and you can create your own levels and had obviously couch split screen and all of that sort of stuff I used to play back in the day.
Yeah.
But that game, like that first level where you start off in definitely Time Splitters 2 is such a homage, obviously, to GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Like they know exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
With that.
I have to say, mate, just going back to Test Drive very briefly, I've been watching quite a few videos of the early access betas that people got for getting the gold editions on the console.
Oh, is that out now? Is the early access already out?
Well, no, they got access to a beta for people that have pre-ordered the super duper gold edition. And I have to say,
this one that was a couple of weeks ago.
About a week ago, and it actually looks like it runs pretty decent on the PS5 and Xbox, which is one of the worries
I'd expect so. It's like that test drive has never been like, it was never as graphically good as a Gran Turismo or a Forza or a Horizon or anything like that. But that wasn't what it was for.
Yeah.
The car models in like pretty much all racing games just generally look great in everything.
Yeah.
Like it's like we've always said, haven't we? Like the racing games are some of the easiest to make look the prettiest because they've generally looked fantastic. Like since like the 360 era onwards.
Yeah.
Like even something that launched on the 360, was it Project Gotham or whatever? That looked
I love those games.
for the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but I the more I see
even the small ones like your blurs and things like that, like, they just all did the perfect job for what they were.
Yeah, I mean this is obviously open world. I don't know, man. I just have a good vibe.
I hope it's good.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else you guys wanted to mention while you're here? I
don't think so.
Not I can think of.
Well, racing game wise, Clarky's just reminded me saying that he loved Hot Pursuit back in the day, and it just got me thinking. You don't see those type of races anymore, like the Need for Speed Hot Pursuits type arcadey, just fun.
I hated it.
No, not your bag. No.
Hot Pursuit, I absolutely hate. I remember playing that, and I could just do every single race by just smashing into the barriers and just let the barriers take you around, and you still win.
Fair dues. I'll just have some good memories of them. That's all. So.
Yeah, I think those type of games now have devolved into what would be more now an indie type of game or just a downloadable type of game.
Yeah, maybe.
This is why, like, I mean, it happened a while ago, that change. Just look at Ridge Racer. Like, that's one of Namco's, like, most popular and famous franchises.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a Ridge Racer since the 360
Yeah,
era.
yeah.
And even that one was made by, was it Bugbear? Like, they licensed it out to, like, a Western developer, and they made, like, kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
I mean, Ridge Racer was always fantastic. Like, that was... some of those games back in the day used to give you such adrenaline. Like, when you'd play them and get, like, that perfect lap, perfect power slides around everywhere using the boost at the spot-on moments. Just absolutely in the zone.
So good.
But, yeah, you just don't get those.
Oh, Stuntman was pretty good back in the day as well.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. Yeah, man. Fucking hell.
Something completely different.
Yeah. Sweet.
Setting up shots for films and that.
That's it.
Good.
Hitting your markers.
And obviously Driver, that's another franchise that seems to have completely died.
Yeah.
Didn't they release, like, the first few were supposed to be reasonably okay, if not slightly janky, and then they did one, like, later on, and it was, like, a complete horror show, wasn't it?
Yeah, Driver 3, I think, was the bad one. I think they became bad as soon as they allowed you to get out the car.
Yeah. Because I remember the one on the PS1, I was like, why can't I get out of the car? You can on Grand Theft Auto. Oh, this would be really good if you could.
And it wasn't.
No. Awesome. Okay, dudes, we've been 2.5 hours, pretty much. I think it's about time we called it a night.
Wrapped up.
I am sweating buckets here. I need to get out of this hot room.
It's humid as hell where I am.
We need a fucking thunderstorm to clear it or something. I'm just so hot. Yeah. Big thank you to you, Frosty, for coming on. It's been great having you on, having some good discussions.
No worries.
Darren, as always, awesome having you on. We've had some good chats. Really
talk about one game.
Yeah, but it's all the flow
I play other
games.
Good. It's just no point in me talking about, like, I logged in and did my dailies on this game, that game, and that game kind of thing. Yeah. So it's not like I just sat and played one thing. So
it's all good, mate.
It's just got the main difference to talk about for now.
Awesome. Guys, thank you very much for coming on. Big shout out to everyone on Twitch who stayed with us throughout, man. I'm amazed. Clarky, Daddy Ickin, Dougster and Zone Storm have stayed with us throughout the whole episode, which is amazing. So thank you very much for staying with us. And obviously a big thank you to everyone who downloads the show and listens every single week. So from all of us here, it's been amazing, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.